Have you ever wondered why some real estate agents perform at ultra-high levels every single year? Welcome to the Unstoppable Agent Podcast with your host, Richard Fournier. Each week, we interview real estate agents from around the world who are constantly ranked in the top 1% of the real estate industry. My mission, share with you their best strategies so that you can create your own peak results as a real estate agent. It's time to become unstoppable.
Well, hello and welcome back to this episode of the Unstoppable Agent Podcast. I'm your host, of course, Rich Fournier. Super excited today. I've been watching this person. This sounds horrible, but I've been watching you on social media.
Stalking you.
For quite a long time. I'm really intrigued about what you did in the last 60, 90 days, I think, on your social media accounts. Katie Steinfeld, the broker of record, co-founder, of course, of On The Block Realty, independent brokerage in Toronto.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. It's crazy. You think you know people from afar because you spend time watching them on social media. So I think I know you, but I probably don't know you at all. And so thank you for everything you do on social media.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's fun. And honestly, it is who I am. Like, I try to be as real as possible on social media. It's been a journey for that. And I'm sure we'll dive into that. But yeah, if you see me on social media, that's who you're going to get in real life.
That's amazing. So for our international listeners, Katie Steinfeld and her husband, Daniel.
Yep. That's
Daniel, right. Co-founded a brokerage called On The Block Realty in Toronto. And of course, this podcast is really trying to delve deep into what creates a top performer. What's the juice, right? What's the holy grail? What is that magic thing that we're all looking for? And that's the reason why I asked you to come on today, because you have that thing. You have that thing that I see a lot of people haven't created yet. I believe it's all within them, but you have somehow tapped into it, your husband and yourself and your team and the awesome agency you have at your brokerage. So why you, Katie? Why you? I mean, to open your own brokerage and to still survive and thrive in I believe Toronto is the most competitive marketplace on the planet in terms of residential real estate. Why you?
Yeah.
Big question.
It's a good question. I think, there's different things, like in terms of starting the brokerage. I think a lot of times we tend to overthink things too much. We dive into something and think of all the negative reasons why it won't work. And for me, I think I consider it, but it's not the thing I really focus on. And I always live my life with the whole asking myself the question, what if I didn't do it? And what would I regret? I don't want to leave my life just saying that to myself. I want to just try these things. And even if it doesn't work out, I've recognized that I learned something along the way anyway. So if the brokerage would have failed, I would have learned something, and I could have used that to build something else or build on my career further. So I think that's always the mindset I've had going into things. And it's really helped me.
So how long have you been in the game for, real estate?
So I started 13 years ago after I had my first daughter.
So, that popped into my mind. I mean, I have three girls, 3 daughters, and I look around and think, did your mindset or your attitude around risk change? It doesn't seem like it has. You started it when you had a child. So, does that enter your mind in terms of risk and, mortgages and overhead and responsibility? And did that influence you at all, or did that drive you even harder?
Yeah, I think it definitely drove me. I was lucky in a sense because my husband didn't join me until about 6 years later. So he had a full-time job. So I'd say in that sense, I was lucky that I could try things out. I didn't feel so much pressure that I'd have to, provide for my family. And if I didn't do something, it would have been the end of the world. But I think it did definitely drive me. And I think after having kids, you want to show them what's possible and what you can do. And especially, both parents, mom and dad, but I think women especially, a lot of times you see them sacrifice for certain things and for their family, in which, if they want to do that and stay home, that's totally understandable. That I respect that completely. And my mom did the same. But I think it's nice sometimes to see your mom go out and try to accomplish something and start a business and just see what she does. And I see them already like little entrepreneurs, and just that mindset, like just trying things out and seeing what works. So I think they drive me a lot to keep pushing and showing them what's possible.
That's amazing. When you look at the drive that it takes, and it does really start with a burning desire for something different. And when you look at yourself, and have you ever wondered where that came from? Can you did you develop it, or was it always an internal burning desire to do something different?
Yeah, I think I've always had that a little bit. I'm definitely the type of person that if somebody challenges me, I'm up for the challenge, and I want to prove them wrong, which can kind of end up in bad ways too sometimes. But I think I have to have, and I think anybody, whether or not they have a drive or not, they have to have a clear purpose for what they're doing, right? Like they can't just go into something and not have any interest in it. Like you really have to find the thing that drives you. And in this industry, it goes beyond the sales. It goes beyond the money. It goes into your life. And what is it that you want for your life? And a lot of us want financial freedom to, take vacations, to just live a great life. So I think thinking of those things, those bigger picture things, really helps to get you to keep going through the day-to-day grind that it takes, because it's not easy. But I think if you've got that, those higher level goals in mind all the time, and that's why vision boards and all that work so well, because, you're constantly reminding yourself, this is why I'm doing it. And this is why sometimes the crappy days come, but I'll get through it.
Right. Here's a question. I'm dying to know your answer. So I've asked this answer of other owners in the industry, and you're an owner, but actually in the game too. I mean, there's a difference. Can that thing or desire or the it factor be learned, or did someone just have it?
It can totally be learned, but you need to find the thing that's going to drive you, because it's not going to be the same for everybody. And especially, well, maybe in every industry, but what I see in this industry is you see what other people are doing out there. Social media is a dangerous place sometimes, because you think, I'm just going to emulate what this person does. And then you end up miserable because it's really not what you want. So you really have to dive deep and understand what it is that you want and why it is that you want. And that's kind of like the catalyst that'll get you up and running. But you gotta put the work in. You gotta recognize that it's not going to be an easy thing. You're gonna have failures, but it's all about just having that mindset that it's all gonna work out. You just gotta keep plugging away, and as long as you're that big goal is always front and center, it'll drive you to keep going.
When you look at your what you've accomplished up to date, I mean, you've been through the hottest market in history. You've been through a lot of pain. Over the last year, like maybe not you yourself, but the industry itself has gone through a transition.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you could give to an agent today, if they were starting today, that will serve them to get them started and to continue on to have some longevity in this game?
Yeah, I definitely say it's important to surround yourself with people that want to collaborate and want to push you and push each other. Whether that is a team, it might not be a team. Our brokerage is it's a boutique brokerage. We're 25 agents, and we work independently, but we are so just on the same page, constantly talking to each other, hyping each other up. And I think you need something like that, where when when everything goes wrong, like you have somebody to help guide you through those times, but also to help you build up your business and see, you go through the courses and they don't show you what it is actually like, to sit at a table with the seller and try to convince them to sell your house with them, right? And so when we take our agents through that and have them kind of shadow us, the amount of knowledge they gain through that process is just, they're like light years ahead of when I would just kept messing up and learn. And, it was good, but it was such a longer process. So if you can partner yourself with somebody, go on a team, find a brokerage that will kind of help you through those first couple of years, I think you're going to be set up for success. You see what people have to do. You see the different types of things that happen, and you're more prepared and confident. Confidence is also very, very important, because you come into this industry and, whether you're a confident person or not, you don't know what to expect. You don't know how to handle these sort of situations. So when you see somebody in real time handling these things, you are much better equipped to do it yourself when the time comes.
You nailed something really interesting here, and I haven't heard anyone else mention this. It's almost like an apprenticeship internship idea.
Yeah.
When I was at Scotia McLeod back in the day, they spent a ton of money on us. Like, we had to spend 5 weeks downtown Toronto learning how to communicate. We had to learn how to present. We had to learn how to dress. We had to learn how to eat. We had to old school. How do you tie a tie? I mean, how do you function in society? How do you communicate to your client when you're sitting across the table with them, asking for their millions of dollars or their $100,000, whatever it may be? And in our industry, we bring people in and say, there you go.
Yep. That's it.
Go figure it out.
Yeah.
There is no sit down, like, this is what you say. This is how you say it. Or this is what you ask people, or this is how to present an offer, or how do you even write an offer? I feel like there's some severe gaps in our industry.
There is. And I think, it's hard to know where to put the responsibility. It's tough but at the end of the day, I think it really falls onto the brokerage. And the brokerage model, in my opinion, is somewhat broken in the sense that it's a lot of volume and let's get as many people in the door. Don't really care what they do. Don't really care if they produce. As long as I'm getting my monthly fees, that's what's keeping me afloat. And, granted, there's a lot of great brokerages out there. I don't want to speak badly, but I see a severe lack of people just coming into the industry thinking they know what they need to do, and then within a year they're gone because they were never properly prepared, and it's not their fault. So there's a really big opportunity there, I think, for us in the industry to really help people figure it out. And it gives us a better name at the end of the day. Like, our reputation gets impacted when people come out of school and mess up deals and don't know what they're doing. So, it's important for us to take that as an important thing to do.
I can't help but ask a little bit about your brokerage. And I don't usually ask because I'm kind of brand agnostic. But you do something a little bit unique, and I think I'd like you to share it, because I think our industry is always evolving, and you do something a little bit different than most brokerages. So maybe you can just take 5 minutes and explain to our audience, what makes you a little bit unique.
Yeah. So, I mean, the catalyst to starting the brokerage was really the whole auction concept. We started back in 2017 when, like, the brokerage itself, when the market was really crazy. I mean, I think everybody knows what 2020, 2021 was like. So it was kind of similar. And we just saw an opportunity and asked ourselves the question, why can't we disclose the content? Why can't we disclose the price? Sometimes it's obviously always helpful for buyers to know exactly what they're getting into, what they're competing against. And we saw other markets like Australia and United Kingdom do it. So we set down the road of opening up our own brokerage and a separate auction company to conduct the auctions in order for us to do it within the rules of real estate. So that was really the main reason for starting the brokerage. We continue to offer it as a service. It's definitely market dependent because predicated on competition. And definitely in this market, that's a little bit more of a challenge, but it's a good option to offer consumers. And it's a great way to start a conversation with a seller, just to kind of explore the different methods that you could use to sell your home. The auctions work exactly the same way as a traditional sale, in the sense that you're still cooperating with agents, you're still putting the home on MLS, like all of those things that you normally do. It's just the way you get to the eventual sale price is through an open, transparent process online. So it's been a great learning experience. We definitely got a lot of negative and bad feedback reports to Rico and all that kind of stuff at the first, but that's to be expected. Everybody, sometimes when people feel threatened with a new idea, you think you're trying to take over the world, but ultimately we're just looking to offer a different choice within the industry that you can offer. And there's a lot of companies, and I know you have listeners outside of Canada, but definitely within the Ontario market, there's a lot of auction companies that have come in recently, and they are separate from brokerages and from agents. So it's nice to have an option that agents can use and offer. And so if they say, well, this person can do auctions, well, we can do that too, if it's something you want to explore, but it has to work for your property. And we're very honest and upfront with everybody, that even agents come to us and we can collaborate with them and put their listing up for auction. But we've said to a lot of people, it's not going to work. This is not like a magic pill that's going to sell this home if you've been struggling to sell it. Like, it really has to make sense. So it's good. It's been a great process, but yeah, definitely market dependent, I'd say.
Love the honesty. It's really great. And it's great that you're trying different things. You're trying to serve the consumer in a way that, looking to figure out what does the consumer really want, and giving options for them. And I think that's really important in our industry. If you look out today, is there a daily critical method of operation that you employ? Very serious here. Around your mind, around your mindset, like, or are you just naturally a positive, focused, intentional human being?
No. I wouldn't say I am, but I'd say I have I've established a great routine for myself, especially around morning. Morning is like such an important time for me to just get my mind in order. I wake up usually around 5 o'clock, and I will work out for about 30 to 45 minutes. I work out at home. I have a Peloton, which is great. So I can do it all from home. It doesn't take me a lot of time. And then, get ready, do a bit of usually just kind of review of my calendar for what's coming up for the day, what I need to know about. And then I find that just that hour and a half is just amazing. And if I don't get it, it's not a good day. So I'm very regimented with that. So the one thing that I've struggled with that I'm trying to get better at is a nighttime routine. I've started now putting my phone away, spending a bit of time reading. I love audiobooks and podcasts. I don't read a lot. So I've started picking that back up and reading for a little bit. Doing a little bit of journaling, not journaling, just kind of like summarizing up my day, like the emotions I was feeling, why I was feeling certain ways, and also gratitude, like just reminding myself, like, what am I grateful for? At least 5 things. So that practice I've actually just started within the last couple of weeks. And when I stick to it, it sets me up for a great day the next day. But again, I can also be found scrolling through Instagram Reels at 11 o'clock at night sometimes, and then I'm kicking myself the next morning because I'm tired. But it's got to be those 2 factors I find really set yourself up for success and just a great mindset going into the day.
It really just make a huge difference, right? How you fall asleep at night is really how you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
So my demon is TikTok now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, we all have one.
I didn't even watch movies anymore. The world is way more interesting today.
I know. It's just scrolling. It's horrible.
I don't know if it's a dopamine hit, but
it is totally.
Like, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, right. And it's definitely a challenge for me. Definitely. I'm definitely have ADHD tendencies, and if lint flows by my eye, I'm distracted. So TikTok and Instagram Reels.
It's hard. Yeah.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Let's go back to a little bit around the daily method of operation, because agents like this, let's be honest, out there today, there is I don't know, what do we got? 90,000 agents, 100, well, maybe 100,000 in Ontario. Let's 100, somewhere around there.
It's getting up there.
And really we're on about a 2.5, 3 hour radius.
Yeah.
We're all in the same market.
Yeah.
So if you were starting today, and this is like every agent, I don't care how long they've been in business, they should be like, I'm starting today.
Mm-hmm.
Game is changing rapidly in how you communicate with your client, by the way, video first, right? And but is there a daily method of operation around relationship acquiring, right? Promoting yourself, having conversations, text conversations, social media promotion. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you do this all day, every day? Like, what is that critical path that an agent should really implement and then make adjustments as they go along?
No, it's a great question. And I think it's something that in this industry, we're just bombarded constantly with all of these quick fixes, do video and you'll get all of these clients, or, do this and that. And it really, first of all, it comes down, as you were talking about, to conversations and relationships. If you could just if any agent, not you, but if any agent out there, whether they're starting out or they're just struggling to survive in this market right now, if you would just pick up the phone, send a text message, start a social media conversation with 5 to 10 people every single day, that's it. For 60 to 90 days, if you did that consistently, I guarantee you're going to get business. You're going to get referrals. You're going to get people talking to you. You're going to get interested people wanting to start looking for houses with you. There's people out there, and you just have to be the person that's top of mind for them. So the first step is obviously having that conversation. Right. And then if you take it a step further, you got to track that conversation. You got to make sure you're following up with them as well. So there's all these different ways that you can keep top of mind, whether it's through videos or newsletters or things like that. I think you got to decide what you like to do on that end, but everybody just needs to have more conversations and build relationships with people. That's all it takes. And we overcomplicate it in this industry. We think, I need to have this perfect video every single day put out there for, 5 people to like. And yes, video is important. Trust me, because I do it too. But I also have recognized that when I'm trying to do more content, it takes over my days, and it takes me away from those core things I need to be doing to build my business.
2 conversations out of that now. Like I said, we have to be careful. I could dive deep with you on this stuff forever. So thank you for your time. We have to have conversations. That's the big deal. That is, I don't care what industry you're in, it's conversations all day, every day.
Yeah.
Why don't agents do that? Why don't they do it? Like, there's a gap, right? There's a gap between knowing and then doing the executing on the knowing, the intellectual knowledge. Why aren't they doing it?
Honestly, I think most people are afraid to do it. They don't want to get a no. They don't want to get a negative response. But I don't want people to come at it in a super sleazy salesperson way. Like, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell? No. Like, how are you? What's up? How's the family? Like, ultimately, everything comes back to real estate at the end of the day. Like that's what happens. So if you're just genuine with people and you just, you see somebody, it was their son's birthday, strike up a conversation on Facebook about their son's birthday. Like, hey, how did it go? Like, what did you guys end up doing? Whatever it is. That's it. But we're afraid to do that because we're afraid that we're going to come across sleazy and nobody's going to want to talk to us. But you got to start it. You just got to do it. And it gets easier. Like it does.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you nailed something right there. Fear. Like you're afraid.
Yeah.
It's been my experience that all of us want to be liked.
Mm-hmm.
None of us want to be disliked.
Yeah.
And our whole day is driven by the opinions of others.
Yeah.
And in that moment, we've created this prison where we really do want to serve. Like most agents I speak to agents all day, every day, they really do want to help. right? They really do.
Yeah.
But they're so scared of being rejected as a
Yeah.
human being. And so they just live this life of fear and not wanting to pick up the phone, have conversations. And I think that they forget that there are thousands of relationships, conversations that you must have. Because when you look at the probability of putting together a deal, I mean, one, they got to have the money. Two, they got to qualify. Three, it's got to be in the right area. Three, it's got to be four, it's got to be the right house. Oh, rules changed. Oh, now they're not going to qualify. Like, they have to have relationships at scale.
Yeah.
They really
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's and social media has perpetuated that as well too. That fear of rejection, that fear of people just not, giving them the likes and the comments and getting that engagement that you hope you get through social media. Like, social media is a great tool to show people who you are and what you're up to, but put the content out there and be done with it. Like, post and don't go back to it for the rest of the day, because you're just going to keep coming. And trust me, I do it all the time. Like, I put out a video, I think it's awesome. And then I'm like, oh, why? I'm like, come on, like people, me? Like, look like me, So it's normal. But I think that has kind of come back to the whole fear element of, well, I'm not good on social media. Then why am I going to bother reaching out to people? They don't like me anyway. None of it's
going to work. It's it. I'm out of the game. It's over.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
So we've kind of looked at social media in terms of, especially because there is some competition out there in terms of the real estate market, but social media is there to support your direct efforts. So I'm having conversations, and then that person reaches out, they're in my database, and they decide to look me up. They find me because I'm everywhere, right? Yeah. That just supports my conversation. Doesn't mean they're going to come and use me or work with me. It's just a support mechanism for the relationship. Yeah, that's the way we've 100%. Taken the viewpoint around it now. And if we don't get someone just messaging us and want us to talk to us, or because of our post, we're not upset about that anymore.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's a brand build around the relationships I have with other people.
Yeah. And most people don't like and interact with your posts anyway. They're watching you 100%, but they're not engaging because they're not ready to yet.
So let's be okay. I'll admit something. I have watched your posts. I don't know. I think you've really jumped up your game in regards to say Instagram. And so I watch all the time, just so you know. I don't comment.
Yeah.
I don't heart it. I don't like it. It's not because I don't.
Right.
I'm just consuming. I'm consuming. But what ends up happening, I'm like, wow, I like what she's doing. I like who she is. I think I like her personality. I think, those things, I'm like, well, maybe I should have her on. Oh, and I ask around, what do you think of Kate? Oh, no, great, lovely, doing a great job at, I'm like, okay, well, then maybe I should have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah. But I didn't like it.
Happens. Yeah, exactly.
I was watching.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's a lesson for all the agents out there.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
That's awesome. Would you tell your daughter to get in the game?
I wouldn't force her to, but I see some entrepreneurial spirit in all of them. Like, I've got 3 girls and 1 boy.
Okay, sorry. I just thought.
And even it's funny. Yesterday, my 9-year-old daughter, she organized a group of her friends and spoke to the principal about selling bracelets for charity. And they did this whole thing prepared already. Yesterday, they put these bracelets on sale. And I got a picture from a friend of mine whose son took a picture of the lineup of everybody in line for these bracelets to buy. And they sold out like 200 bracelets at only $1 each. So like $200 for they were raising money for the food bank. So but it's that kind of stuff that I think it's the entrepreneurial side of things that I think our generation didn't get very much. Like we kind of had to figure it out more, unless you were within a family that, had that, but I did not. And, I struggled a lot with kind of trying to find my way, figure things out, sales side of things. But I think when they see that, they want to do something like that on their own. And so whether they do real estate or not, I'll let them choose. But it's fun to see. It's fun to see for sure.
Our industry is bringing in a lot of agents. should we up the bar in the education, or what do we do to change it?
Yeah, I think
This
it's
is just
so
for the
hard.
industry because I'm really interested in what you think about it.
Yeah. I think that something has to be done. I would be more in favor of some sort of, as we were talking about before, like apprenticeship, some type of thing that leads people in the right direction. But there are definitely a lot of people that come into it thinking it's easy and have no interest in being guided through the process or wanting to learn how to do that kind of stuff. They just want to make money. So it's a toss up. But I think we could definitely do more to make it a little bit more challenging for people to get in, like just the serious people. So yeah, I would definitely like to see something like that for sure.
Awesome. So when we look at some of the most important things you share with us, I just want to summarize. 5 to 10 people every single day have conversations. Like, have conversations. We're in a relationship business, right? It's just not about the transaction, right? People have to know, like, and trust you to do business with you. I think we've forgotten that because real estate was such a religion. It was a commodity-based religion. It's the way I kind of looked at it, over the past few years, that because we had free money, and we were in the midst of an emotional roller coaster of real estate can't lose.
Very true. Yeah.
Right. And so I think a lot of the agents are learning the hard way that relationships are key to everything.
Yeah.
5 to 10 conversations every single day, and then use social media as a support system around those conversations. Find a brokerage that is there to support you, not just in word, but in an actual action.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing today? How are you doing it? Are you happy? Things are working for you. Maybe you should present it this way. Maybe you should have conversations this way. How do you show up when you like real support mechanisms to perform? Is there anything else I'm missing? Confidence. You better develop confidence or you're in trouble.
Yeah. 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 That's true. Yeah. And just the right mindset. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. Take care of yourself, take care of your body, get good sleep, work out, like again, it's the fundamentals, right? But we often just overlook that as like kind of a luxury or something, but ultimately that is what's going to set you up for getting into getting the motivation and the drive that you need to do those basics to get the business and to do well.
That's amazing. Last question. I'm super curious. Any plans to expand out into the rest of Ontario?
It's a great question. Not right now. I really love just the small, not the smallness, but just like I'm trying to think of a good word for it, but like just the boutique nature of what we have right now. I'd love to expand that kind of like in different parts, maybe throughout the GTA eventually. But yeah, we're just kind of figuring things out as we go. And right now we've got such an amazing group of agents, and it's just so nice to always spend time with them and talk to them. So yeah, we're just kind of taking things as they go.
You're lovely. Thank you very much. And I appreciate how you come at and how you show up in the game of real estate. You show up as super authentic, caring, and very committed to your profession. And I just want to say thank you for showing the rest of the world that real estate agents can be professional. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I love your podcast. It's so inspiring. So keep it up, because I know you're definitely inspiring a lot of others to do well in this industry.
Thank you so much for being here. And if anyone needs to reach out to you, what's the best way?
You can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm there a lot scrolling, as we've said. So at katie.steinfeld is where you can find me.
And everyone should follow her on Instagram, because she's doing some great things. And she really does share the results that she has been producing. And I saw one episode, I don't even know what to call it sometimes, but where you did share some of your results around the activity that you executed on, and it was amazing to watch it grow. So if anyone has an opportunity, I would highly recommend going onto her Instagram account and scrolling through and really finding some of the things that she's doing. She's doing a great job. So
And scroll back to the really cringy moments in the bad videos too, to remind yourself that you all start somewhere and you will get better. But
you do start somewhere. Time. I mean, I look at my videos some days, I'm like, oh my God, do I actually look like that? There's dog hair on my shirt, right? Why did I post that?
I know. Whatever. Yeah.
Really appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you like what you've heard and you're interested in creating a quantum leap in your real estate business, here's what I want you to do next. Head over to www.theunstoppableagentprogram.com and book an appointment to speak with our team. We'll get on a Zoom call with you for about 30 minutes and get you crystal clear on 3 things. Number 1, what do you really want out of your life and your business? Number 2, what is not working for you today? And number 3, the exact mindset strategy you should be using to create massive change in these areas. Remember, creating massive, consistent results in your real estate business does not happen by itself. You need expert guidance to make it happen. We're helping clients all over the world create peak results in their real estate business. To see if we can help you do the same, head over to www.theunstoppableagentprogram.com. We'll chat soon.